What's up guys, my name's Liam, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at a new budget option that is the Fantech Tanto Pro. This does seem to be a shape that has taken inspiration from the Viper Mini, and in this video I'm going to be breaking down how my experience has been using this so far, and hopefully by the end of this video I'll be able to help you decide whether or not this could possibly be the perfect gaming mouse for you. So let's check it out. And before we get started today, I did want to let you know that this was sent out to me. However, everything you'll be hearing in this video is going to be my own words and my own opinions. Included inside the box, it does come with a USB-C to USB Type-A cable, some documentation, also does come included with some grips. These do feel pretty good. They do feel rubberized and pretty sticky. And here's a look of the 8000 Hertz receiver that this does come included with. As you can see, this does have a bottom charging function, magnetic charging, USB-C connectivity on the back. It does also have LED functionality down here in the bottom. All right, so here we got the mouse itself. As you can see, it does have this bottom charging functionality. It does have a sticker on it when it came out of the box. I did remove it. It does look like it has this dongle storage underneath, but there is no type of dongle that this version does come with to actually store down there, so that's probably why they did have a sticker on here. But aside from that, you do have power functionality over here where you can use either the wireless receiver. This also does have Bluetooth functionality, then a DPI button over here, and the skates that do come included on this, they do feel all right. I don't believe that this does come with any type of additional coating. It almost feels like there is just a very minimal amount of texture in the plastic, so if my hands were to get wet, then the surface does become quite a bit slipperier. That's probably why it does come with the grips on this. But as far as the shell integrity goes, everything on this has felt pretty solid so far. Nothing that I've really noticed. If you're to push really hard here in the middle, you can get some bending and it can activate the side buttons. Nothing that I noticed in normal use during my gameplay though. For mouse 1 and 2, this is using the Huano transparent green shell white dot switches. I'm not really sure why a lot of companies switched over to these switches. They do have just a little bit more of a heavier feel. Maybe it's because it gives you a bit more of a tactile click. One thing I will say about mouse 1 and 2 on here is these buttons, they do feel just a little bit more flimsy. And I do feel like that Fantech has done a great job with the build on this as far as the click implementation goes. Because when you click here in the middle, as you can see, you don't notice a whole lot of pre or post travel. But I will say that with how flexible these buttons do feel, you do notice that feeling if you're to play more up here towards the front. Though I don't get any type of like noticeable left to right or anything like that. But the click implementation on this, when you do start to click back here in the rear, it does get a little bit more heavy and gives you almost a little bit more of a spongier feeling. So you're going to get the optimal click feeling on this mouse while you're clicking more in the center of the buttons. And then when it does come to these side buttons, I do like the spacing on them. And these side buttons, they do feel all right. You do get just a little bit of play back here from the rear, even just a little bit here in the middle for the pre. Not a whole lot though. Once you do click in, you do get quite a bit of post travel actually, though it does hit a solid wall when you click back here. A little bit of movement left to right, but nothing that I've noticed being so much an issue when I've been using it. So even though I do feel like Fantech has done a pretty decent job, which is the build on this mouse in general, it still just kind of has almost an older budget feeling style of a mouse in the hands. Let's go ahead and we will drop a click quality sound test. When it comes to the weight and balance, this is using a 300 milliamp hour battery. That's usually what my recommendation is for a preferred battery in a gaming mouse like this. Every time I see a gaming mouse with this magnetic bottom charging function, I always kind of know that it's just not going to be a mouse for me. It does throw off the weight balance and just add a bunch of additional weight that personally I feel like is unnecessary. And I do know that people do have their own preferences out there. And I do know that there is an audience that might find the bottom magnetic charging to be just a cool function for convenience purpose and perhaps for the look on your desk. But again, I would definitely absolutely prefer it not being in here. So it does throw off the weight balance on this, making it feel again just like not really as optimized of a mouse as it could be. So throwing it here on my scale, looks like we're getting about 58.7 grams. Here's a really quick overview of the software to make any type of adjustments to this mouse. You have to come down here and click on this tab to get access to the click to bounce setting. This only allows you to go as low as a 1 millisecond click to bounce setting. And then I'll just go ahead and click on some of these other pages here and just show you the settings that I have been using as I have been testing out this mouse. And when it comes to the performance, the fact that you can only put the click to bounce down to a minimum of 1 millisecond does have an impact on the overall numbers for the click latency, and this is what I was getting on the XLAD. And when it does come to the shape of the Tanto, it is actually pretty straightforward. Just looking at the curves on this, like I mentioned in the intro, very similar to the Razer Viper Mini in a lot of ways. I do feel like it feels a little bigger as far as the width of it goes. And the hump profile on this is less aggressive, so it does have a flatter profile filling on the top. So while we're on the topic of it, let's just go ahead and bring in the Viper Mini Signature Edition to show you what I'm talking about. You should be able to clearly see here, looking at these next to each other, how the Tanto does look like it's a little bit larger. And then even coming down here at the bottom, you will be able to easily notice as well as far as just the width and the length of it goes. Just, you can tell by looking at just all the curves on this front to back, the way the front profile is, how these look very similar to one another. I'll go ahead and show you a really quick profile of what the curve profile looks like from the top mid down to the sides. One thing that makes this mouse feel larger in the hands, you can see this does have a wider top where this one does fall off more aggressively. So it's a little more pointy feeling up here on the top of the Viper Mini. But as I stated earlier, it does have a flatter feeling. You are going to get a higher hump on the Viper Mini, where this one just feels flatter, but the taper down to the rear, not a whole lot of difference there. All right, guys, so that about wraps things up on the Fantech Tanto Pro. And I do feel like for what this mouse is, the Fantech did do a good job. However, with that being said, this mouse to me does feel like something that should have been released 2 years ago. It's pretty obvious that a lot of other brands out there are really pushing the limits, even when it does come to the budget space, where you have companies like Mchos or even ATK, where they're really pushing the performance, coming out with new Nordic MCUs, using some of the fastest firmware solutions that are out there. All these mice are having a pretty decent coating at this point, and even the weight. So even though I really do like the shape of this mouse, and I feel like there is a lot of potential here, I do feel like with this, for me, there is a lot left to be desired with how the current state of the market is. Even going back and comparing it to one of their older mice, the Helios 2 Pro S, just the feeling of this mouse in general, the balancing feels much better on it. I like the skate design, the skates it comes with a lot more. The click feeling on this, I like the clicks, they feel a little bit lighter. So when I agreed to get this mouse, I was hoping that it was going to feel like this, even though, don't get me wrong, this mouse is a lot more expensive than this one is. And even though the Helios 2 Pro S is only 2 grams lighter than the Tanto Pro, just the difference with you feeling all the weight here in the middle or towards the rear does give both of these mice a pretty different feeling in the hands. So again, even though I do feel like for what this mouse is, that they did a good job with it, I do feel like this mouse does kind of feel behind in the times compared to the other competition that's out there. And I really would like to see Fantech push the envelope with this mouse a little bit more, give us some better performance. And even though this does have a 3950 sensor in it, I would like to see some improved internals, and just the design of this, bringing the weight down, I feel like would be such a huge deal on it, to be able to catch up with how the modern market is with the competition out there, giving us a little bit better of a coating, better skate design where you get a full skate down here in the bottom. I'd even make the top skate up here a little bit bigger. So if you guys do have any additional questions or feel like I left anything out, please let me know in the comments down below. If you have enjoyed watching this video and are interested in seeing more videos like this in the future, please drop this video a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.